The grand ballroom of the Plaza Hotel in New York City shimmered with opulence, hosting an evening dedicated to children in need. The charity gala was an event to remember, with the city's elite mingling among philanthropists, educators, and community leaders. Chandeliers cast a warm glow on the attendees, while a live orchestra played soft classical tunes in the background. Tiffany Trump, often seen as the quieter and more private member of the Trump family, was one of the keynote speakers. Wearing an elegant but understated gown, she stepped up to the podium to deliver her speech. Her words were filled with hope, sincerity, and a passion for helping children who lacked access to education and opportunities. Every child deserves a chance to dream, she concluded, her voice steady and genuine. The crowd applauded warmly, touched by her heartfelt message. But in the crowd, lurking near the back, was a figure who had no intention of celebrating the evening's cause. Mark Reynolds, a journalist infamous for ambush interviews and incendiary reporting, waited like a predator sizing up his prey. Armed with pointed questions, a cameraman, and a calculated plan, Reynolds was determined to turn this elegant affair into a viral controversy. As Tiffany stepped off the stage, Reynolds made his move. Reynolds approached her with a microphone in hand, his crew following closely behind. "Tiffany Trump," he called out, loud enough for heads to turn. She paused, offering a polite smile. "Yes," she said, her tone warm yet cautious. "Given your family's track record on issues like immigration and wealth inequality," Reynolds began, his voice dripping with faux politeness, "don't you think it's hypocritical to stand here and talk about helping underprivileged children?" The room grew still. Conversation stopped mid-sentence as attendees turned to watch the unfolding scene. Tiffany, taken aback by the audacity of the question, maintained her composure. "Well," she began, choosing her words carefully, "I believe helping others is a universal value that transcends politics. This evening is about the children." But Reynolds interrupted. "Isn't it convenient to separate politics when it benefits your image? Many people might see this as a publicity stunt." Before Tiffany could respond, a deep, calm voice cut through the tension. "That's enough." The crowd parted as Barron Trump stepped forward. At just 18 years old, Barron had already grown into a towering figure, both literally and figuratively. Standing at 6 feet 7 inches, he had inherited his family's confidence but carried himself with a quiet dignity. He positioned himself between Tiffany and Reynolds, his broad shoulders blocking the camera's view of his sister. "Who are you?" Reynolds demanded, though his bravado faltered under Barron's piercing gaze. "Someone who won't let you ambush my sister," Barron replied. His voice was steady, his words deliberate. Reynolds attempted to regain control. "I'm just asking questions. The public has a right to know." "No," Barron interrupted, his tone firm but composed. "What you're doing isn't journalism. It's harassment. You came here, not to cover the event or support the cause, but to provoke and sensationalize. That's not informing the public. That's exploiting the moment." Reynolds blinked, momentarily speechless. The crowd, initially silent, began murmuring in approval. "I think you're deflecting," Reynolds said, scrambling to regain his footing. "Your sister is part of a family that's deeply controversial. Doesn't the public deserve answers?" Barron tilted his head slightly, a small, incredulous smile playing on his lips. "Controversial? You mean a family that spent decades building businesses, employing thousands of people, and, oh, right, helping to organize events like this one? The public deserves integrity in reporting, not hit jobs disguised as questions." The audience broke into applause, emboldened by Barron's sharp rebuttals. "But don't you think," Reynolds started again, only for Barron to cut him off. "No," Barron said firmly. "What I think is that you've overstayed your welcome. This event isn't about my sister, my family, or you. It's about helping children who don't have a voice. Maybe focus on them instead of chasing your 15 minutes of fame." By now, the energy in the room had shifted entirely. Guests who had initially stayed on the sidelines began stepping forward, voicing their agreement. "Exactly," one attendee called out. "Let him speak for all of us," another added, nodding toward Barron. Reynolds, realizing he was outnumbered, tried to save face. "Well, clearly, the Trumps don't want to answer tough questions." "Tough questions?" Barron echoed, his voice calm but edged with sarcasm. "Here's a tough question for you. How does it feel knowing your career depends on tearing people down instead of lifting them up?" The crowd erupted in cheers and laughter. Reynolds, visibly flustered, muttered something about needing to leave and hastily retreated with his crew. As the room settled, Tiffany turned to Barron with a grateful smile. "I didn't know you were coming tonight. I had a feeling you might need backup," Barron replied, his expression softening. "I couldn't let someone like that ruin what you're doing here." The siblings shared a brief hug before returning to the event. Guests approached them throughout the night, praising Tiffany for her speech and Barron for his unflinching defense. By the next morning, videos of the encounter had gone viral. Social media exploded with hashtags like #BarronTheProtector and #DefendTiffany. News outlets picked up the story, with many praising Barron's poise and quick thinking. Even commentators who often criticize the Trump family couldn't help but acknowledge the power of the moment. Barron had demonstrated not only loyalty to his sister but also a rare blend of intelligence, humility, and strength. For Tiffany, the night became a testament to the bond she shared with her youngest brother. For Barron, it was a stepping stone into a spotlight he had never sought but handled with grace. And for the public, it was a reminder that sometimes, even in the most divisive times, family and integrity can shine brighter than the noise of controversy.